my memory is terrible, so I vaguely remember. I think it was one of your more recent ones, though Southern woman you're talking to, I do not remember what it was. It was a Christian thing. I don't remember the specifics though.
Okay, I got you. Probably um, could be Shay Sparks or Michelle Gotch.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That sounds familiar.
that's okay. So usually I spend some warm up time. Normally I do 2 interviews. I get to know you conversation, and then I schedule a podcast later. But
Mm,
I think you probably just want to get it all done in one shot.
if possible, yeah.
Sure, you're busy being a 15-year-old, huh?
I'm actually playing D&D later.
Oh, it is Sunday morning for you, huh? Or early
Yeah,
Sunday lunchtime?
yeah.
Yeah, it's actually 7 p.m. for me over here. I'm
Wait.
active duty Navy. I'm deployed
Oh,
to the Middle East. I'm in Bahrain right now. It's a
mm,
little island in the Persian Gulf next to Saudi Arabia.
that's cool.
It's not cool, but I'm out here anyway. I've actually been in the Navy almost 20 years. This year will be
Oh
20
wow.
years. Yeah, I've got a 17-year-old girl and 11-year-old boy. I'm an old man.
Mm,
15, you're like, man, that's so old. That's how I felt when I was 15.
mm.
Right?
Everything's relative.
Yeah, everything's relative. Oh, I got my start in the nonprofit world a few years ago with a few connections and just showing up and being a good person. They asked me to help co-author a book.
Mm,
Walk with Warriors is on Amazon, and then I love the mission so much, helping veterans and first responders share their stories, that I asked how I could help, if I could volunteer, be on their board, or whatever that looked like for them, and they wanted me to be on their board. So I came up on
that's
the
cool.
board, and we did another anthology the next year called Resilient Warriors. It's 22 female veterans telling their stories.
Mm,
I had a lot of fun with it. Joined another board, the Shine Foundation, and they do a lot of work. It's a community service partnership between the county and the criminal justice system in Oklahoma City, and they help nonviolent offenders serve out their time by doing community service and cleaning up parks, painting over spray paint, stuff like that.
that's very cool.
Yeah, authored my second book. Worked about 1,500 hours in volunteer time. Donated about 20,000 of my own money. Raised about $500,000, and had a lot of fun doing it. I got deployed out here and had to find something to spend my time on. So bought a big microphone and a headset, and
Mm,
I'm just talking to people about the fun stuff that they do with their nonprofits.
mm.
Do you have any questions about what I do?
Um, I don't believe so. No, not right now.
Okay.
If I come up with anything, I'll ask.
Yeah. What are you struggling with right now and with your nonprofit?
Um, Probably the biggest problem is just getting the word out there and getting people to actually donate, which is really the problem with all small nonprofits, because the bigger you are, the easier it is to get more money, and the more money you have, then the more money you can get. It's just
Yeah.
the problem of getting to be bigger so you can get that money in the first place. Since like all of the grants and everything we've been looking at, they want you
Mhm.
to be making like 50 grand or more a year, and we're nowhere near that point.
Yeah. How much did you guys pull in last year?
Much less than that.
Well, yeah, but did you make 1,000, 5,000, ten
Um,
thousand?
I believe 35,000 off the top of my head, though I'd probably have to check around there.
But
So
you're not far below that. You're very close to
yeah,
that, and you make a
yeah,
lot more than a lot of nonprofits that I've interviewed for this show. So don't feel
yeah.
bad about that at all.
We're getting there. It's just a matter of training dogs is incredibly expensive. So it just seems like it's much less than it actually is.
Yeah, the 35 grand for training dogs does
Mm-hmm.
not go very far. And I actually have a few nonprofits that do that, Paws and Warriors being one of them. Crystal Heller, she'll be on my my show here in a couple of weeks. I've already done the interview, but it'll be released in a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
It's wonderful what she does and what you do as well. So how did you, I mean, we haven't started the podcast yet. I'm just trying to kind of get a feel for you and what you do. So how did you decide to help out with childhood PTSD and trauma?
I actually have PTSD. I was diagnosed around my 9th birthday. Like, I think I actually received my diagnosis like 3 days before or something like that. And we tried literally all the different medications, but due to a funky genetics thing, everything had the opposite effect. So like antidepressants make me depressed, antipsychotics make me psychotic, etc. So the
Yeah,
doctors
that's not what we're
recommended,
going for, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
never a good thing. So the
Yeah.
doctors recommended that I get a service dog. And then about 3-ish years later, so when I was 12, I was now at the other end of it. So I was basically myself again. I still had a few issues. So I had wanted to start the foundation because when I looked around when I got my diagnosis, and there is nothing on childhood PTSD. And like I looked in the library, I looked online, and there is nothing. And what little that there is either for adults, so you give that to a 9-year-old, they won't have a clue what the thing is about,
Right, right.
or or the one thing that I found that was geared towards kids was something along the lines of when daddy isn't the same after he comes home from the war. So again, dealing
Yeah.
with adults. There was
Yeah.
nothing that was about kids who have PTSD geared towards the kids who have PTSD.
I often wonder if I had a similar experience. So this is move 49 for me. I went to 12 schools in 6 states, 5 foster homes. Both my mom and my sister tried to kill me, and I even had spent some time in jail before I graduated high school. So I'm assuming something happened up here, right?
Presumably, yeah.
Presumably, unless I was already a sociopath and I just ignored her. That was my fuel, which is, which is,
One never knows.
yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Um, so kind of the format of this is I do like a little welcome, say thanks for coming on. I say a little bit something about the Chaotic Spider Foundation addressing childhood PTSD through training service animals, service dogs. What
Yeah.
word would you like me to use?
Service dogs is better because a service animal can either be a dog or a miniature horse, and we deal solely with the dogs.
Okay.
So
No,
technically, service animal would walk. Service dog is just
okay.
easier.
Service dog's better. No, no miniature horses in your future?
No, no miniature horses.
Okay. Cool. And I'll say, hey, Liam, how are you today? It's Liam Klein, right?
Yeah.
I mispronounced someone's name in an old podcast, and I felt like a total jerk for not just verifying up front,
It's fine. The advantage of my name, it's all of like it's all of like 3 syllables. Nice
Yeah,
simple
I mean,
name.
I'm Travis Johnson. It's
Yeah.
pretty straightforward. I've been pretty lucky for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Although I've had someone mispronounce Johnson, and I said, "Really? Really? That's what we're having
How do you
problems with today?"
mispronounce Johnson?
Look, I don't know if they were being funny or what the deal was, but yeah, get my phone turned off here so I'm not getting alerts while we're trying to chat. We're recording, right? So the best thing about recording is you don't have to fill the dead air with you can just be silent. And my
That's
editing
nice.
team, they'll just go through, they'll just take out that, however big that silence is, it's no big deal.
Joys of editing.
You make a mistake, you say something you don't want to say, you want to take back, no big deal. We'll get it edited out, and then we'll have a good show.
That's reassuring.
Cool. So I see I'm going to ask you probably why
Mm-hmm.
even though I know why, right? The audience doesn't know why you started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what it is that you actually do,
Mm-hmm.
how you do it,
Mm-hmm.
and then what your growth, what do you want your growth or your future to look like, and then how me and my audience and my team can support you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And this can be as straightforward as you want. It can be just question and answer.
Okay.
Some people want to answer the question and then they want to tell a story about something that they've done with the nonprofit that helps answer the
Mm-hmm.
question, right?
Uh-huh.
So, you trained your first dog and you weren't sure how it was going to go and you connected with someone that needed the dog. You can say their name. You can not say their name. You can say a young a lady or a young man, right? And then you can say where kind of what their experience was before finding the Chaotic Spider Foundation and what was it like after.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this is stuff that you might know, but it helps you sell your story, right? So when you
Mm-hmm.
get in front of donors, you say, I was bad. This is the thing that was the thing. And
Yeah, it
then
helps to
I've
have a
got
success story.
my service dog, and this is the result, right? So you're showing everyone the benefit of what it is that you're doing. And it makes it a lot easier for them to give you money.
Yeah.
And we like money.
Yes. Money is very helpful.
Money is very helpful when trying to reach a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Um, does that sound about right? Does that sound good?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Perfect. Again, there's no rules here. We can come and say what we want to say, right? Mom's not editing this out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, I don't know. Are they in the room, like staring at you?
Nah, it's fine.
No. Okay. I like to get stretched out before. I hate to get a cramp in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
recording. That's no good. I want to cramp up and be sitting here all day. And you're the founder, correct?
Yeah. Founder and CEO.
Founder and CEO. How big is your board?
Um, it's fairly small since we recently had a few people who we unfortunately had to weed out because they were all, yeah, I want to help, and then they didn't actually end up doing anything.
Helping.
Like we put stuff on their plate, they just don't actually do anything. So we have about 10 people total on the board now.
That's more than double what most people have, and there's nothing wrong with that. So most people I end up talking to have 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Very few. I've talked
Yeah.
to a few that have had 15, but by and large, you have more than they do.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So let's get started, huh?
Yep.
Hey, you're listening with Travis Johnson, the nonprofit architect. I'm on today with Liam Klein. Now, Liam is the founder and CEO of Chaotic Spider Foundation. The thing that's really surprising is he's crushing it at 15 years old. Liam, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm just glad to connect with you, glad to get you on the show and hear what Chaotic Spider Foundation does.
Thanks. The main thing we do is we help children who are suffering from PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, and we do this in a few ways. The main way, and definitely the most expensive way, is by training and providing service dogs, but we also give grants to an intensive trauma therapy program, ITT, in West Virginia, as well as just spreading information around because very few people talk about mental health or PTSD in general, but even among that group, childhood PTSD is essentially the little redheaded stepchild because literally there is nothing about it. Like, I've got into it because I have PTSD and I looked everywhere when I got my diagnosis, and there is nothing that is about children who have PTSD that's actually geared towards those kids, just as a, hey, you're not alone type of thing,
Hmm.
and here's what's actually going on. You're not going crazy. So we also just spread the word and like give referrals to therapists and that kind of thing.
That's really cool. I love the mission, and I've talked to a few organizations that train service dogs, and I know for a fact that it is cheap, not cheap at
No.
all. And you've got all these kids out there that antidepressants don't work, antipsychotics don't work, diet and exercise, proper sleep don't work, and it comes down to finding another solution to help people with PTSD. And in this case, you're tackling a problem using service jobs, and I think that's just fantastic.
Thank
So, how do you go about talking adults into giving up their money and helping support your cause?
you. With much difficulty, but basically just showing how, unfortunately, we haven't quite placed a dog yet. However, our very first service dog, Lance, is currently in the next few days will be on his way to the very first child who's in Pennsylvania. So, woo!
That's
But
exciting. That's great
yes,
news.
so hopefully then with an actual success story under our belt, we'll be able to better essentially market, though I don't think that's the right word, but really just looking at this my service dog Einstein. Oh
What's
boy,
his name?
Einstein.
Einstein. Perfect.
But really
He wants
just
to get
looking,
it's his first podcast too.
yeah, but really just looking at me and how a service dog Einstein has helped me just since when I got my diagnosis. I literally was trying to kill myself just to make everything end. So Einstein literally saved my life. So really just spreading how that happened, probably the main thing.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's wonderful. It's really important to connect people in whatever organization, my listeners out there, whatever organization you have under your belt, whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to push, you have to find a way to connect with the donors, have a story
Mm-hmm.
that impacts them in the heart, hits them in the feels, so they're willing to then support your cause, so they can join you in helping to combat childhood PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got to be pretty busy as a 15-year-old and running a running your own foundation, and you're still in school. How do you balance everything?
It's really nice because I'm actually in an online school. It's Laurel Springs, so I don't have to walk around like an 8 to 2 p.m. This is when I'm doing schoolwork and then homework and then foundation things. So it's literally just when I can do my schoolwork literally whenever I have the free time. So it's just my Calc 2 class that I'm taking at the community college that I have to walk around time-wise. Everything else is just, okay, when I have the time to do it, I can do it, which is really nice.
It's nice that you have that kind of flexibility. I know there's a lot of adults in your situation where they're trying to work a full-time job and also trying to run a nonprofit and also have families and also have all those things going on, or they have kids that are trying to go to school and sports and all those things. So
Yeah.
it's nice that you have a way that you can actually find and make the time to do the things that you need to for both your education and for the foundation. Have you had a chance to go speak in front of service organizations like Rotary Club and such like that?
Um, I don't believe so. Really, the only like I go to an event and speak was I was at the New Jersey Women's Realtors Conference this past September, and I had a little speech there, but I haven't. And I'm also partnering with a company here in New Jersey. Well, they're across the country, but the branch here in New Jersey called Avid Exchange. So I haven't really gone to any place like that now.
That's cool. It's nice you get up on stage in September. I know that one of the things that really helped me out is when I started getting in front of different groups and different organizations, being able to speak about our mission at the time when I was with Books by Vets and then again on the Shine Foundation, be able to actually spread the word with people that are very interested in what it is that you're doing. And I find service organizations in particular to be invaluable resources when it comes to actually getting some support.
Yeah, it really helps when people both have a clue what you're talking about, and when they're really interested in what you're saying.
Yes, 100%. 100%. So where do you hope to find your organization here in 5 years? What's your goal?
Um, there isn't really like a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, or anything like that. It's just our goal is that no child essentially has to go through what I have, since we unfortunately PTSD is something you can't just get rid of. It's not like the flu; it'll pass eventually. It literally rewires the way that your brain works. So once you have it, it will always be with you. And really, our goal is to make it so that, and unfortunately, we can't prevent children from getting it. But I, but what was I saying? Right, ideally, just so that children can get back to being kids, so that they aren't just controlled by the PTSD, so that they are controlling it. Whether that means just they're on a few medications, whether it means they're seeing a therapist, or whether it means that they do actually have a service dog. And I mean, like, ideally, just as a 5-year plan, tangentially, I mean, we'd like to have our own facility so that we can train the dogs completely ourselves rather than having to hire a trainer and have go through their facility and everything like that. So it'd be nice to have our own facility so we have just more space, we can have more dogs at a time, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But there isn't really a solid, like, we will have helped 10 children in 5 years or something like that.
It's hard to define exactly what it might look like, especially
Yeah.
when you're dealing with things like PTSD. I've got quite a few friends working through adult PTSD, most specifically with veterans and first responders, and they partner with equine assisted therapy ranches, which are huge. I don't know if you've done any reading on that, but these things are popping up all over the U.S. and all over the world because the horse can actually sense how you're feeling. They're a prey animal; they're not a predator, which means they have to be highly attuned and highly aware of how any person that hops in their area, how they're actually feeling and what their intentions are.
Yeah, that's actually why the only animals that can become service dogs are dogs. Well, service animals are dogs, yes, but you can also train miniature horses, which that's why, since they're one of the few animals who can actually be trained that well and be as in tune to see, oh, this is what's happening. Okay, we have a problem. Just calm, and then calm the person down.
Yeah, that's actually really fantastic. I'm so glad that the animals are here to help us and do something more than just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, eat and tear up newspapers.
Yeah.
Are you messing with something? You
Uh,
playing with paper, or I can hear
oh,
some in
so
the background?
I just had a couple of notes for the session, so I was just like rearranging them.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, it's picking up pretty good on the microphone. Okay. The best thing about recording is you can edit that whole
Yep.
thing out. Yeah, you must have a good mic though. It's picking it up pretty
Oh,
good.
good to know.
Now, in a pre-interview, you mentioned something other than just service dogs that you were also providing scholarships for.
It's an intensive trauma therapy program. It's called ITT in West Virginia. It's actually where I went while we were still waiting for me to get Einstein, my service dog. I was there for about a week, and I found it to be incredibly helpful, and it went a long way towards letting me manage the PTSD just as a jump start before I was able to get Einstein. So I was able to use it. So I wanted other people other kids to be able to benefit from it without worrying about the cost, since it's like $10,000 ish.
Mhm.
So we provide grants there if the program thinks that they'll be able to help you, because they don't accept every applicant. they only accept the people who they think they'll be able to help. So if they accept you, hi Einstein, then we'll be able to give you the grant. But we can't make them accept you since, as I said, it's only those they think they can actually help.
Well, of course, it's got to be the right fit for the right program, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So how can we, my team at the Nonprofit Architect, my listeners out there, my group on Facebook, how can we help you? What do you need?
Obviously, the most concrete way would be to go to our website, which is chaoticspider.org, spider with a Y, and donate. And you can also support us via Amazon Smile. So like 1 or 2% of all of your purchases will go to us. But even beyond that, just like follow us on social media. We're very active on Facebook and Twitter. So just follow us, share it with your friends, just spread the word about us.
Well, that's fantastic, Liam. Thanks so much for being on the show today. And feel free to reach back out if there's anything I can do to help you out. You please just let me know.
Thank you.
That's it, man. That was a podcast.
Yeah.
Einstein's sad that it's over.
Yes.
So I'm looking through your website here, and I'm kind of shocked to see that you do not have a shop. You don't have T-shirts for sale or hats for sale.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the past few months, I've been tangentially looking at setting up something like that, like bumper stickers, etc. Though we haven't really gotten quite to that point yet.
There's some companies out there that are super helpful. You take a logo and you send it to them, either Printful, Teespring, or you can use my T-shirt guys, Ginger and David at reallydesigns.biz, and they do all the work. They throw it on a T-shirt for you. They give you a link, and you post the link on your social media, or you figure out how to work it into your website, and you promote the link. And when people buy, they click on it. They click order, right? The order goes to them. They create the T-shirt, they package it, they ship it, and they just send you the rest of the money.
That's cool.
And I've had a lot of success with that, with helping nonprofits get stuff like that started. We had Feed It Forward OKC, and I crafted a Facebook message for them. And after that one Facebook message, they have $2,000 a month in recurring donations because they offered a free T-shirt if you supported them at $25 a month.
Wow.
So about 100 or so people signed up. That's not right. About 80 people signed up to equal about $2,000 a month.
You said that the company that you personally used was what?
reallydesigns.biz.
Okay. Thank you.
And what I do for my my guests is I'm going to share my screen with you since you got video on. So this is reallydesigns.biz right here. You can go here, and they host everything for you. If you go to the Nonprofit Architect, they spelled architect wrong. I never noticed that before. Anyway, what I do is I take quotes from the show and I throw them on a T-shirt. So if one sells with your name on it, with Liam on there, I'll send you $5 for every shirt that you sell.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. It's something to get you started. I've had a few friends of mine, I think, are in this list here, like Veterans for Life USA. It's my friend Brian Paul. He does equine therapy for Veterans for Life. And I talked to him about this, and he ended up getting his own line of T-shirts through them as well. So,
very cool.
Yeah, he's got his shirt here, Stronger Together. That's his motto. And again, it's $25 for a shirt. You can set whatever price that you want. But it's really cool because then people can show, right? This is my buddy's SoulCon Ministries. People can show their support for your foundation.
Yeah, and that's just more free advertising.
It's free advertising. They sign up because they want to help you out, right? They sign up for $25 a month. They give you their size and the thing. Then you get them a free T-shirt that you send off.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden you get 10 people, that's $250 a month coming in. You get 100 people, that's $2,500 a month coming in. And then you can walk around it with your own. Your parents can walk around and help promote your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
How else can I help you today, Liam?
Off the top of my head, I don't think there's anything other than like just again, thanks for having me on the podcast. And it's just again, spreading the word about us is incredibly helpful. Since want to hear a scary statistic? A dog is half as likely to finish everything as you are to get diagnosed with some form of cancer.
Half of likely to finish anything?
The training, since the training to become a service dog is incredibly rigorous. So even once we have a dog picked out and who we think will be able to make everything, good temperament, not too dominant, not too submissive, etc., even then there's only a 1 in 5 chance that that dog will actually be able to pass all of the rigorous training and become a service dog. And so only 20% chance. To put that in perspective, there's almost a 40% chance that the average person will get cancer. So you're twice as likely to be diagnosed with some form of cancer as a dog is to pass everything.
Wow.
Which is part of the reason that I was so excited that we currently have 3 dogs in training. One of them is a washout, unfortunately, but like I said, Lance should be heading to his home, so that sounds wrong, but he'll be heading to his child so he can help a child in need. And our other trainee, Thoth, looks like he'll be able to pass everything too, so we're already incredibly ahead of the curve. Just we got incredibly lucky.
Yeah, I gotcha. I've got some friends doing the same type of thing on Facebook. One is Crystal Heller, Crystal with a K.
Okay.
And I don't have your Facebook here. I can send her link if you like, but they do
Sure.
Paws and Warriors. And they do mostly PTSD with adults. I don't know if they've thought about children yet. But that might be someone you can connect with. They can give you tips on how to do what they're doing.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Just drop that in email. There, Paws and Warriors should be their page. This might help give you an idea of what your stuff can look like and what you can do to help you get a little bit stronger.
Thank you.
No problem. And if you're interested, I'm going to drop a link to my Facebook group. And you can go in there if you're not already in one, and you can ask questions. Hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Has anyone else ever struggled with this? And you'll find out that everyone has the same struggles. That everyone's got the same worry. They wonder if they're doing the right thing. They wonder if they know enough. They wonder if all those things.
Thank you.
Yeah. And again, feel free to connect with me on Facebook or otherwise. Yeah. And if you have questions, just ask.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you. You have a good rest of your day. Enjoy D&D later.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.